Hello everyone, welcome once again to another video. In this video we will be learning about the first language acquisition. How do we acquire the language and how we make use of it. But today's presentation is presented by Salvador Ulises Moran Osorio, Mariano de Jesus Asensio Flores, and me, Edwin Ernesto Melendez Montano.
Today we are going to learn about some stages in the first language acquisition.
Let's go with the video. Welcome once again. Today we will be learning about the first language acquisition. But what is the first language acquisition? Well, basically it is the natural process by which people learn the native language, typically during infancy and early childhood. This process happens through exposure to social interaction and innate cognitive abilities. Unlike learning a second language, first language acquisition doesn't usually require formal instructions. Children pick up sounds, words, and grammar by interacting with family members, many people also at school, and also their surroundings. That is why many people, when they are young and travel to a different country, they are able to understand the language and also learn it because they, through cognitive ability, they are able to do it. This involves interacting with people. Also, paying carefully attention to what they're saying, and that's the reason why native speakers do not care about grammar and they do not study grammar because they learn the grammar by talking. So, let's study more with this. What are the stages? Well, the stages in the first language acquisition are commonly attributed to several key researchers in the field of linguistics and childhood development. One of the most influential figures is Jean Piaget, who emphasized the cognitive development aspects of a language learning. Another significant contributor is Noam Chomsky, who proposed the idea of an innate language faculty, suggesting that children are born with a predisposition to acquire a language. Also, here we have the pre-linguistic stage, which is from the 0 to the 12th month. Then we have, the helophrastic stage, which is from 12 to 18 months. Then we have the two-word stage, which comes from the 18 to 24 months. Then we have the telegraphic speech, which comes from the 24 to the 30 months. Then we have the complex sentence, which comes from the 30 months forward till the end.
The pre-linguistic stage is the initial phase of first language acquisition, typically occurring from birth to around 12 months. During this stage, infants communicate primarily through non-verbal sounds, cooing, and bubbling. This stage is crucial for phonetic development, as babies begin to recognize and differentiate the sound of their native language. The single word stage, also known as the holophrastic stage, typically occurs around 12 months of age. During this stage, children begin to use single words to express complete ideas or thoughts. The single words referred to as holophrases can convey a range of meanings depending on the context in which they are used. For example, they may say milk instead of saying I want milk. The two-word stage is a significant milestone in language development that typically occurs between 18 and 24 months of age. During this stage, children begin to combine two words to form simple sentences, marking the beginning of syntax development. For example, they may say, want cookie or go park.
Telegraphy speed is a significant phase in language development that typically occurs between 24 and 30 months of age. During this stage, children begin to use short, simple sentences that convey essential meaning, often consisting of only the most critical words. For example, that, go, or more use. In this stage, as children progress beyond 30 months, they begin to form complex sentences, which mark significant advancement in their language development. This stage characterized by the use of conjunctions and broader vocabulary, allowing children to express more nuanced ideas.
The process that influences in the first language acquisition is by many factors. So we can have one of them is the innateness hypothesis. Then we have the social interaction and the cognitive development. Those are some factors that influence in the development of the first language acquisition. But now, let's get deep into it and let's study one by one. Innate hypothesis. This theory suggests that humans are born with the natural ability for language learning, sometimes referred to as a language acquisition device. Noam Chomsky, a prominent linguist, proposed this idea, arguing that children don't simplify mimic what they hear, but actively construct the language knowledge. This hypothesis explains why children can learn complex grammatical structures early on, even without explicit teaching. So this means that Noam Chomsky create the universal grammar in which children are born with the ability for speaking a new language. So they have everything on the brains already. They have a set in the minds to speak a language. So that's the reason why they do not need to learn grammar in order to speak a language. But this is important to denote that this is in the first language acquisition. When it comes about the second language acquisition, it's completely differently.
Social interaction plays a significant role in language acquisition. Through conversation and social exchanges with family, caregivers, and others, children gain exposure to language in meaningful contexts. This interaction allows them to learn vocabulary, understand sentence structures, and pick up on social nuances in communication. Interaction also provides feedback as caregiver often correct or guide children's speech, enhancing learning vocabulary. So that is to say that we learn from our environment.
The process of cognitive development can be understood through various theoretical frameworks, with Jean Piaget's stages being among the most influential. Piaget proposed that children move through four stages of cognitive development: sensory-motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. Each stage represents a different way of thinking and understanding the world, from sensory experiences of infants to the abstract reasoning of adolescents.
The development of language skill in children is a complex and dynamic process influenced by various factors including cognitive skill, social skill, and cultural understanding. Language acquisition begins early in life, often before children can articulate their thoughts or express themselves verbally. From the moment they are born, infants are exposed to sounds, tones, and rhythm of language, which serve as the foundation for future communication. As children grow, they naturally engage with the environment, interacting with caregivers and peers, which further enhances their linguistic abilities. This developmental journey is not just about learning vocabulary or grammar. It involves the intricate interplay of cognitive process that enables children to comprehend meaning, construct sentences, and communicate effectively. Moreover, language development is not a solitary endeavor. It is deeply embedded in social contexts where children learn to use language as a tool for connection and expression. Thus, understanding the various influences of a language development is essential for supporting children in becoming proficient communicators.
Cognitive development is essential for acquiring a first language, as it directly impacts a child's ability to understand and use language effectively. This intricate relationship between cognitive processes and language skills highlights how children's mental growth shapes their linguistic abilities. Cognitive development encompasses various mental functions, including memory, perception, attention, problem solving, and reasoning, all of which play significant roles in the language learning process. As children progress through different stages of cognitive development, they become more and more adept at recognizing patterns, categorizing information, and making connections between concepts. This foundational knowledge is crucial for language acquisition as it allows children to grasp the meanings of words, understand grammatical structures, and produce coherent sentences.
Social skills in language acquisition, like social interaction, is fundamental to language learning, as it offers the context and feedback needed for children to develop language skills. Here are some social factors that include: first, imitation and modeling. Children often imitate sounds, words, and sentence structure they hear from adults and older children. By mimicking others, they learn not only vocabulary but also the social cues and body language associated with communication. Another one is turn taking. Through interaction, children learn conversational turn taking, an essential social skill that helps them understand the flow of dialogues and respect for others' speech in conversations. This skill also allows them to better comprehend the rhythm and pacing of natural language. Another one, joint attention. So, in this factor, joint attention is the ability to focus on an object or activity along with another person, which play a crucial role in language learning. For example, parents might point to a toy and say its name, uh, prompting the child to focus on the toy and associate it with the word. Joint attention helps children link words with meanings in real social context. So, and another one is feedback and correction. So, this is important because parents and caregivers often provide implicit or explicit feedback, such as correcting a child's pronunciation or repeating a word properly. This feedback helps children refine their language skill and understand the nuances and pronunciation, vocabulary, and syntax. And the last one is social responsiveness. So, in this case, children learn to adjust their language use based on social context and the people they are speaking with, such as using simpler language with young children or more formal language with adults. This adaptability is part of developing communicative competence, which is crucial for effective social interaction.
Language acquisition also involves cultural understanding as language is deeply embedded in cultural practices, values, and worldviews. Children learn not just the words of their language but also the cultural meaning and practice associated with the language used. One of these cases could be the example of the United Kingdom in the United States with the word pants. In the United Kingdom, when someone says pants, they are referring to underwear. But if you say pants in the United States, they are referring to trousers. Then we have the language and social norms. Children learn when and how to use different types of language such as polite language with adults or casual language with peers. Cultural norms influence these aspects of language, teaching children the appropriate ways to address different people and respond in various social situations. Then we have pragmatics, that refers to understanding the intended meaning behind words beyond the literal definition. This includes learning humor, idioms, sarcasm, and culturally specific expressions, which are deeply tied to a community's culture. For instance, understanding when a phrase is meant to be humorous rather than literal is a skill developed through cultural exposure. By this means that the humor that you are using in your native language is not the same as the humor in your second language. One example of this might be that someone born in the United Kingdom and someone born in the United States. Both they could have different humor. But why? Because in the United Kingdom, when they are using humor, the humor that they use is with sarcasm. So sometimes they might say some things like, for example, when you fall down, they might say, "Oh, how hard it was the floor." So that's the humor that they have. So they are laughing about the obvious things. But for some cultures, this might be kinda rude. But for some cultures, like the culture of they, is not like that because they understand the humor. Then we have nonverbal communication. Cultural understanding includes learning nonverbal cues such as gestures, facial expression, and body language, which can vary significantly across cultures. These cues help children to understand the context and emotions, tone, and conversation. This is quite important because if you are traveling to a different place and you are doing some gestures that in your country are quite well seen, but for the culture that you are doing is not quite well seen. Then we have the storytelling and footage. Many cultures pass down their values, traditions, and morals through stories and footage, which expose children to language in cultural rich contexts. This exposure helps children to understand narrative structures, moral lessons, and shared cultural knowledge, embedding language learning within cultural identities. By understanding French language acquisition, we get insights into how children learn and develop into a new language or in the first language.
It highlights the interplay between innate abilities, social interaction, and cognitive growth.
As we continue to study this process, we can better support language development in children, ensuring that they reach their full communicative potential.
Thank you for staying with us till the end. I hope you can enjoy the rest of the video if you want to rewatch it once again to understand even better. So, see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.